Hey everybody, welcome to Maine Wedding Buzz, and today we're going to be talking venues, and you know how much I love my venues, because without venues, none of us can work, and the venue is the most important part of your wedding. So today we have Rest and Be Thankful, and they're also known as the Homestead.
That's right.
Michele and George are here to talk about their venue, which is a very beautiful venue, so let's get talking. Thank you for coming onto the show.
Thank you for inviting us.
So one of my first questions is, how did you get started in this world of venues and this world of catering that we all do?
Initially, working for families, within our families, helping them put on events and weddings. I was also an event planner and volunteer coordinator for a nonprofit for 10 years. And we just sort of transitioned into doing it privately and now publicly.
With
at
your
our
property.
farm.
And your daughter was one of the biggest weddings that you've had there?
Our
that you
our
sort of
daughter
created?
and our son both had their weddings there.
Oh, wow.
We actually were like, no, let's find a beautiful place to go. But everyone decided our place was the best. And that sort of pushed us into the...
What interesting little things did you do for their weddings that you created?
Lucy's wedding was a sort of a garden setting, garden party, very traditional, old style, turn of the century. And our son's wedding was more of a little more formal. And what we found was interesting is that vast majority of the guests had attended both weddings, and they came away saying they couldn't believe they were at the same place.
Oh, wow.
The weddings were that different, and that sort of really made us think, this is a good thing because we can
Always make it
customize and make it special, and it's not a cookie cutter, and their photos won't look like the couple from the weekend before.
Great. That's a good way to put it. What year was the property built and the barn?
The home was built in 1750. The barn is 1865.
Oh, wow.
So we have some history and age there.
Now, the barn houses how many people? If you want to do smaller events, you can have the barn?
The barn is suitable for sit-down, sort of a family style, and I think we'll have a picture on the show. About 40, possibly 50 comfortably at farm tables.
So these are some of the photos that we have here.
There's
And this is the one. This is actually a really great photo here.
Yeah.
And so that's actually 50 people, right? Almost?
That's 50 people.
Wow, incredible. So it lends itself well to almost that Tuscan feel, but inside the barn.
An intimate dinner, rehearsal dinners.
Can you do dancing in there, or is that something?
We've not done it. I have found, and you can certainly advise on this with your experience, that a long rectangular shape is kind of tricky to do dancing. So we generally, our weddings are generally tented.
Nice.
Some folks have the dinner in the barn if they're having an intimate wedding. Then they'll do dancing under a small sailcloth tent,
Nice.
which
Like
is
sort of a
kind of
round
fun
or
to have the...
So you have these little vignettes you're almost
Exactly.
creating within your property, which is really nice. And can you get married on the property as well, if you want to?
Absolutely. We have numerous ceremony sites. We have a beautiful knoll. We have an orchard. We have perennial gardens.
So they have their choice of
They
where
have
want
their
to do.
choice. There's, and the brides are coming up with new
This
things
is a great photo,
all
too.
the time.
I love the look of the way the sun is shining and her dress, the sari that she's wearing, and it's beautiful. It's a really pretty picture.
That's one of our favorite shots.
And then you have more on here as well. That's a great, is that leading?
That's the same couple, and she's in her American wedding gown there.
So she did traditional and
Yes,
American.
yes.
Nice. Oh, that's pretty too.
That's actually our daughter.
That's a pretty picture. Nice. And where is this located at?
This is in the perennial garden, and the willow tree that's in the back, we have two couples that have chosen that to be their ceremony site. And so obviously that'll be set up with benches.
And the tenting there, or the sailcloth that you have in the background, that's the tenting that you rent, and I'm assuming
Yes.
you have rental companies that you deal with.
Yes,
and
we have great working relationships with Marshall in Kittery, and also A+ in Scarborough are terrific partners, and again, customize
everything,
the
tables,
couples,
chairs, china,
yes,
brings
tent.
everything in. Perfect.
Yes, when we quote the venue, we are providing not only the venue, but the tables, the chairs, the tent.
All of the
dance
equipment,
floor,
everything.
So that the brides the couple are really
So if you
confronted
actually-
with only, well, I just need to get my catering and my entertainment and my,
So you've made it really easy for them. Instead of
Yes.
making it almost a la
Yeah,
carte, which a lot of locations are a la carte,
Yes.
you're taking on that responsibility of helping them pretty much almost becoming planners for them, which is really a nice way
Yes.
to sort of put it together as
Yes.
a venue.
And we offer that as well.
and we've
full
we've
planning.
enhanced our business where we have a day of coordinator
Oh,
now.
wonderful.
She's, the beauty of that is she's working in the office so that in that time frame where you are planning your wedding, anywhere from a year ahead, she's up to speed, so you're not paying like an outside planner all that upfront time
Yeah.
to get up to speed, and then suddenly the day arrives.
And you do one event a weekend.
One per
Which
weekend.
is really nice because it does give the bride the feel. So when you do an event, the event is usually either they pick a day, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday to house their actual wedding. And so they can do it. And so is everything else sort of like if you want to have rehearsal, that's extra for the day before?
We do consider it an extra event. We can accommodate that, but we usually talk it through to make sure couples understand that, it would be additional catering.
Additional rentals too?
Possibly rentals, certainly for linens and china. And we also talk with them to make sure they understand the picture that they might even want something different. We find a lot of couples want to go sort of seashore for Friday night, and then because they're doing a farm, garden, woodlands theme on Saturday.
Create almost different venues is what you want to
Yes.
do too, so that when people are coming, they're not seeing the same thing, and so
Exactly.
that makes it really
And
nice too.
the big reveal for the main event can be kept sort of a special.
How
special
many
moment.
hours do weddings at Homestead? Are they 5 hours? Because normally we do 5-hour increments. So I just was curious.
The couples can choose to start their ceremony whenever they like
Okay.
on that day. The day of their event, they need to be last dance and last call and waving goodbye and heading on their way by 11 o'clock.
Okay.
PM.
That's not bad. That's actually really good.
So if you have a 2 o'clock ceremony,
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a lengthy
a lengthy
event,
time.
but it's certainly an option if
Okay.
there was a need to do that.
Now, are guests allowed to stay on the property?
We don't have housing on site, but we have within 10 minutes of the farm some beautiful choices.
Oh, wow.
B&Bs, some national hotels, and then Kennebunk and Kennebunkport are 10 and 20 minutes from the farm, so with all of the amenities
And one nice thing
properties.
that you do have is a bride's room.
Yes,
so
we
that
do.
she can get changed, and I think we have
picture.
a photo of that as well.
We have a lovely bride's or dressing suite with a bathroom. That's sort of the main room,
Okay.
and
Which is
quite
nice
spacious.
because she can bring her dress and
Yes.
not have to wear it and get it wrinkled if
That's
you're getting married
correct.
on the property.
We've had brides arrive at 9 o'clock in the morning with their makeup and hair person and emerge at 5 o'clock for the ceremony
Just have a
and make a day of it.
couple mimosas in
Yeah,
there and just
exactly. Well, some snacks, courtesy of, and we've had brides arrive fully dressed, hair and makeup, take a few shots, and some brides are arriving from a church ceremony, and so they may just freshen up. So it's whatever they need.
And what
whatever
other
works.
amenities do you require to have there? Bathrooms, tenting. I know we talked about that.
The dressing suite has a bathroom
Okay.
with a shower, and we have a new construction barn that houses our porta-johns
Oh wow.
and hand washing station, and there's sort of
That's
a
kinda
lounge
fun
setup.
Because it does the three things that I always expect from a portable restroom, which is one, it's out of sight, two, it's undercover, and three, we have lights in the
Nice.
barn. So
Nice.
it just kind of takes care of that. and it's
That's
very
one of my
pleasant.
pet peeves. I think sometimes that you go to these beautiful venues and then you have these, some people can't afford the big trailers that
Right.
are $4,000 to $5,000, and then you see the green outhouses
Right.
and you're like, let's put those all the way in the back. I said somewhere where you can't visually see it in any photo.
And then you know it's going to rain.
Exactly. That's your key
We
right
also
there.
we always have a handicapped unit, and we also have a hand wash station. So
Nice.
it's like a giant lounge.
When does the farm become available for your season? Like, how does your season work?
Our season is the last weekend in May through Columbus Day. So the last wedding would be Columbus Day weekend.
And how many weddings do you do a year? Or do you try to do?
One per weekend. We're in the
15 to 20.
15 to 20.
And that's where you'd like to be, so that's really nice too.
It allows us time to make it special for each couple, and it is our home.
Yeah.
And we carve out a few weeks to enjoy our family.
Yourself. Now, is it a working farm?
We are a working farm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
We have retired horses. We have a competitive horse that lives on the farm now.
Oh, wow.
We do hay. We grow and cut hay. We have hens. And we're also a clinic site for United States eventing clinicians come to the area and teach clients who truck in with their trailers and horses. And the fox hunt.
Host the Wentworth Fox Hunt. That's a lot of
Tell
fun.
us a little about that activity.
Well, that's George's favorite thing is the fox hunt.
The Wentworth Fox Hunt is out of southern New Hampshire, and we are the only fox hunt in Maine, I think.
Oh, wow.
And
it starts right there at the farm?
They truck up. We've got an arrangement with the neighborhood farms where we've got about 1,000 acres with 10 different farms that they're able to ride on. And they don't actually kill or it's a scent drag where the hounds follow a scent, and it's not
No foxes are.
killing foxes.
No actual foxes are even
More
involved.
pageantry than anything else.
That's incredible. So they can
And
find that
tradition.
on your website as well if people are interested in that.
And then they
incredible.
come and afterwards they have a lovely tea.
In fact, they welcome spectators.
Wow. And that's the only one in the state of Maine. That's something
That's
that the
something I
CVB
just-
should know about when they're bringing these large tours into town.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's a really cool thing. How far in advance do people have to book you? Do you work the way we do as caterers? We book a year in advance so that we know our schedule a year. So in January, February, March, and April, we work on the following year. Do you do the same thing as a venue?
We're approaching that. Generally, if a couple has a certain date in mind, especially September, October, and as where we do one per weekend, and so there are only 2 dates available in October, so that's only 2 couples. If they want that date, we recommend at least 9 months.
9 months. That's good.
And probably September, it's getting to where it needs to be a year in advance.
Yeah, September and October and August this year seem to be the most popular
Very
months.
busy.
August 29th, we've had to actually turn down so much work because we're already booked. And I'm wondering, did you feel the same crunch? Are those magic dates for you?
Could have had 30 or 40 weddings in September.
Yeah.
And I think it's a 5-weekend month, so we have 5 couples.
Sort of like July of 2016 is a 5-weekend
Yes.
month. And
Yes.
you're like, wow, July is a pretty,
Yes.
might be a popular destination month
Yes.
for July next year. So
And we
keep
have
that
a
in
lot
mind.
of inquiries for 2016 now.
Yes, and we've started booking.
Started booking there.
Now, on a personal note for me, I know you have a table in there that's from Cuba.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
As
I'm
far as-
Cuban, so that's why it piqued my interest.
It's a fact. Yeah, we showed it to you when you visited the farm a while ago. It's a solid piece of mahogany, and as my mother explained, she bought it at auction in New York City, probably in the '60s, and she said, it was the Governor Batista's poker table.
Nice. That is so cool.
So that's our
a little
that's
bit
our,
of history.
That's our kitchen table.
Well, it's funny because every time when I moved to Maine in 2007, right in Saco, there's a plaque from the sinking of the Spanish ship right in our town square, and then my next connection is your table. So I get my little bit of Cuba right here in Maine.
Actually,
My mom would be proud. Do you have a venue page that you refer? I know that you refer us as a caterer, but I know there are other caterers. Do you do videographers, officiants? Do you do that as well?
yes, we have a very good list, and all the vendors that we recommend are people that we have actually worked with or have a relationship with or participated in events. So we can comfortably and confidently recommend them to couples, knowing that they will take the best of care.
And it's interesting because this is something I've always said, and I've said this at conference and trade shows when I talk about venues. I meant it when I said it at the beginning. I said without venues, none of us could have an event, including the bride, because the bride needs the venue just as much as the caterer, the photographer, the officiant, and it's an important part of the wedding. I actually make that the number one thing at a wedding before you start. And when I talk to clients about where you've started, venue should be your first priority before you choose anybody else, because the venue will allow you to create your day. Because without it, it's sort of kind of all over the place. And I think once you narrow that down, everything sort of falls into place. So I'm always.
I think we would agree with that.
It's the most important
The
part.
best way to contact us is through our website. We have a nice little lead management software program that is fed directly from our website, so that guarantees that at least we have 2 different ways to get a contact with you. We had a phone call the other day, and
Do you do?
just as she gave us our phone number,
Right.
we can't get a hold of her now.
Do you return within 24 to 48 hours, sort of like what we do?
Definitely 24.
Perfect. Because it's sort of almost the way, 26 years ago when you started in this industry, we had phone answer machines and word processors. Now you really need to be, there are some people who expect the call within 2 hours and they don't realize that you're working a busy week. And January, February, March, April, you can return calls every 15 minutes if you want to, but during busy season, I think a lot of these magazines, when they write the articles about weddings, need to put that out there so that the people understand that, your wedding is important, but we're also dealing with the bride that booked last year. And you need to realize that if I'm on the phone with you, do you expect me to be on the phone with somebody else? Sort of that same sort of routine.
Tough, yeah.
How do you see your 2016 season going?
I think we'll be very busy.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, we certainly hope so. We're
Booking up and
we're booking, talking and meeting more people, and with each couple you work with, it's sort of a wonderful web where they go away with happiness, and they're telling their friends. And
do you use your social media to your benefit, sort of Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest?
yes, and we're bumping that up a bit. We've actually just hired our daughter, who is a professional writer and has a lot of experience with website work. She's going to be taking over social media, and she and I are doing a blog. I've been asked to do a blog for a year and haven't gotten organized to do it. So we're thinking we'll do sort of a mother-daughter generational take on some of the things that we
That's
find.
a really good idea.
Questions, and I'm sure you do. And
When will that become
I think
viral?
we will probably have that live within 30 days.
Excellent. Be on the lookout for that. So that'll be really good too.
Then the other thing that our new day of coordinator Valerie has started is our wedding Wednesdays, where we feature a couple on our Facebook page. It's a lot of fun, and we get a lot of hits. People all like to look and see who's getting married next. And
When they call, do you do appointments? Like, do you set up appointments usually on the weekends, or do you do it during the week? How does that work?
We do appointments 7 days a week. We find that obviously weekends are very busy, also sort of the latter part of the day. Because we live on the property, it's somewhat easy to show it. And generally speaking, it's the couple's schedule that we work with. If they live in Boston or New York, it's when will they be coming up to visit, and we will make every effort to accommodate that.
We do the same thing almost. We came off a busy weekend, and we had 2 clients that were coming up from Boston, and Sunday we were in the office, and
we had couples.
Exactly.
We had a big wedding Saturday, and we had 2 couples visit. One was booked and wanted to see a setup, and the other was a new potential group. And then Sunday we had another family coming in that have booked October, so they're looking.
Do you allow people to come take a peek during setup?
With permission of the bride and groom.
Permission of the bride. That's excellent.
And they've all been accommodating, and we set time frames. We don't want them there during a rehearsal.
Exactly.
Or family time, but we always clear that with the couple. And we find they love showing what they're doing because they're excited and proud. But if they don't want that, we would never.
Any fun facts about the property? Something that...
Well, an interesting fact, and I need to do some more research, we've been told that it's possibly the oldest farm
Oh, wow.
in Lyman, Maine, which is right next to Kennebunk, and the greater area that survived the fire of 1947.
Oh, wow.
Because so much of that area was burned, but the fire did jump properties, and the Cape is 1750, so that's what we've been told, and so I'm hoping for some quiet time next winter to learn more about that.
And do you find that brides come back to, once they've been married at your property, come back to sort of kind of reminisce, or?
We are finding that, and we also hear from our couples, and which is really fun because we only do one per weekend, and
You build a relationship
we
almost.
build a relationship and lots of hugging and.
It's interesting because I've said this before, and it's almost it becomes bittersweet because you do the wedding and then you want the hug at the end, but then you realize, oh, you're not family. You're just
That's right.
You have to take a step back.
And that very much
until
was this weekend.
So
was,
it's
oh,
sort of
we'll miss you.
exactly,
and,
because
and the
you
feelings
get
mutual.
it really involved.
Yes.
It's a year of planning, and you know more about them than sometimes you know about family members because you're hearing it, and so I can feel that because I sometimes get too attached.
But that's the best part.
I keep
It's
a
a
little
very nice part of it.
tidbit of all of my weddings, and I'm sort of a catering hoarder, so I have something of every wedding I've ever done, just because it flashes back very
It's a
quickly
really nice
about
idea.
That's a good idea.
about
Very
what
nice
their day
idea.
was, and I can remember quickly. So give a shout out about your website, and so people can find you.
Oh, yeah. We're at www.thehomestead.me. And the ME is important because if you go homestead.com, you'll never find us.
And it'll be at the end of the show, so you'll be able to see that. As always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And venues, like I said, very important. So when you are doing your research, look for the venue that fits you. The farm is beautiful. Look them up, like them on Facebook, and we'll talk soon. I'll see you next week. Thank you.